So my name's Andrew Ecker, my mother Kathy Lindsay, my father Gail Ecker. My mother's mother Elva Gallegos, Apache woman from New Mexico. My father's mother Evelyn Beatty, an Irish woman from Pennsylvania. My mother's father Leroy Lindsay and my father's father Wayne Ecker. I have a daughter Bailey, a son Peyton, and this is my beloved fiancée Monica. I was incarnated into this body in the ancestral land of the Multnomah, the Clackamas, and the Willamette, next to the beautiful Willamette River, in the shadow of Mount Hood in Portland, Oregon. Although I reside 6 months out of the year in the ancestral land of the Aknal Atam, the Peepash, and the Maricopa in Phoenix, Arizona. I'd also like to acknowledge here that we're on the ancestral land of the Ute, the Arapaho, the Cheyenne, and as far back as the Anasazi as well here. You know, this is a very sacred place here, and acknowledge this beautiful mountain here as well. You know, and all my relatives here all the way around, and give thanks to Shanti and Mom here for helping us organize this event this morning. Thank you so much, relative. I really appreciate you. And I generally like to start with a prayer and a smudge. So this right here is a fireplace. You know, it's a sacred place. It's a meeting place of the elements. This shell right here, it brings forward the waters. And it was taught to me by a woman named Linda Rettinger. She said this fire right here, this coal represents your spirit. And this medicine right here represents your body. And when your body and your spirit come together, it creates a prayer. You know, so this one right here is already praying for us. It's already doing work. But I'm going to go ahead and add my words to it too. And if you'd like to stand up here, we'll go ahead and do a prayer here. And, you know, the way I pray is everybody's welcome. You know, if you come here and you only know, you know, the way to God through Jesus, you're welcome here. You know, if you come here and you worship the elements, you're welcome here. You know, if you're an atheist or an agnostic, guess what? You're welcome here. You know, I'm just going to say some nice words, you know, and open up this container in the best way I know how. You know, that's how I've been taught, and that's what I enjoy doing. So, for those of you that have never participated in a smudge, my uncle Teddy Begay, he would say, put your fingerprint on it, nephew. That's you, you know, and then bless yourself with it. You want a motion to it. You know, some people, they hit themselves with it. That's good, you know, but others very gentle, you know, because that hand, that's you. You know, this right here, it's sacred. You know, some communities, clapping is even kind of taboo, you know, because to do that with your hands is really kind of like you're hurting yourself, you know. But I also understand, you know, whatever you feel comfortable doing, you know, that's how you're going to bless yourself. And me, you know, I'm a hand drummer, so I put my hands through some stuff. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pray here, okay? So I invite all of you here, all the way around, you know, into this prayer place in a good way. And thank you so much for being here. So Father, Mother, Creator, Source, I thank you for this opportunity to be in this prayer place that was founded before the creation of time, an eternal place of rest and connection to you. And I invite the holy people here. I invite them to use me as a vessel, to use my voice, to use our instruments, our holy instruments that are here, our sacred instruments, to use our bodies, our minds, to open up our hearts, to bless us in a good way, Creator, like that, you know, that we may be a community, that we may mend the hoop, that we may open our hearts up to the circle of life in a good way, and be a blessing onto this whole place here, these mountains, these springs, these sacred waters that are around us right now. I pray, Creator, that those would be our relatives again, that we would be reminded of what it means to be in relationship with the air, the water, the fire, the earth. That we would be reminded of what it means to be in relationship with one another, like that in a good way, Creator. And I thank you for all the good things that you're doing in the seen and unseen parts to make a way for us, to bless us. And I thank you also, Creator, for blessing us with our vehicles. Some of our relatives here, they went through a little struggle this morning getting here, but we know that they're here safe, Creator, and I thank you for that safety. I thank you for all the people that are coming, too, that are going to hear this good message and be a part of this blessing here today. And if you all could just say this with me, beauty above, beauty below, beauty beside, beauty in front, beauty behind. And just resting your hand on your heart right here. Beauty within. I am. We are. Made beautiful again. Oh. Right. Give thanks, everybody. Well, thank you so much for letting me share and introducing myself in a good way. Myself, I didn't always have an introduction like that, but, through learning these ways and being called back to these ways, I can introduce myself today. And, we're going to be talking a little bit about how we reclaim our earthling identity, how we step into that place. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and go into a little sound here. So we have some sacred instruments that me and my beloved use. We work primarily in hospitals, memory care, skilled nursing, drug and alcohol treatment facilities, a lot of Native American treatment facilities back home. And we've done a lot of work in really dense, energetic places. So when we step into using these instruments, we step into a place of holding the miraculous. That these instruments would convey the energy that literally sustains life itself. So I want you to pray with it. I want you to use it. If there's a part of your body, if there's something you're going through mentally, spiritually, bless yourself with it. We have an opportunity to go out to the Gila River Indian community and work at the Caring House, which is an elderly center, convalescent center. And when we play the flute, the elders will motion to the music like this, blessing themselves with it, just like a smudge, relative. And in our traditional language, the word for healer and the word for singer, they're synonymous. So we've known that music is medicine, right? We know it. And what we need to do now is step into that vibrational frequency of understanding that that's there for us. That you as an earthling, right, you have the availability to use music to heal your body, to heal your mind. And I know, just from checking in, that some of you are dealing with things right now. You're going through some issues right now in your life. And I want you to know, first of all, you're not alone. We're all feeling that right now. But there's those of us that have been called to be alchemists. And guess what? That's why you're here. You're here to be able to use the density to transform and bring forward potential. Okay? So that's about what I'm going to say. I use my voice. I channel words. I channel languages from other places. And if something resonates with you, that's for you. Receive it, accept it, use it. You want to leave here with something that you can take home to your community. So we're going to be using these instruments, the hantan. This is the hantan, which is an instrument that's, if you were to go down to a place called Bonaparte in Chiapas, Mexico, you could visit the Mayan temple there that has the murals of them playing this one. It's made out of the agave. Many of us call this didgeridoo, right? But there's actually a Mesoamerican history of this instrument. And for me, when I see Cocopelli, I believe he's playing this one. That's what I believe. Because it sure doesn't look like a flute to me. It looks like this, right? If you see the Mayan temples, you're going to see them using this. There were 500 Mayan priests playing this for the Spanish conquistadors when they came into Bonaparte. Put yourself in that lifetime relative for a moment, Remind yourself of that power, what it is to be in connection with the vibration. And then the gong here. The gong is used all over the world to help people. There's metals in there that come to us from comets. Nickel, they say, comes here on comets, and when we play it, it brings in the angelic. And then the chimes, the Native American flute and the drum. Okay, so this is a prayer for you, this sound. And then we're going to go into a message, and then we're going to lively up ourselves with some drumming, huh? Does that sound pretty good?
Yeah.
All right, so I just want to invite you here to check in with the earth underneath you, reminding yourself you're supported, checking into the earth. And as you rest into this place of infinite possibility, as you remind yourself of the medicine of the earth, just allow for her holy presence just to give you what you need. Just allow for that energy just to flow through you. Let's all take a deep breath in the nose. Extend the exhale. And if it's available for you, relative, I invite you to close your eyes and just rest into a place of permission. I want you to know that you're safe to close your eyes. If you have struggles closing your eyes, for many years of my life, I couldn't even close my eyes in a prayer place. So I want you to know with practice, relative, even 30 seconds, a minute, 3 minutes of submission is progress. Okay? And I want you to know that you're safe, and I'm not going to let anything happen to you. And if you want to close your eyes, you can. A barrier, a canyon, a great ravine, calling you close, calling you close, closer she's calling you. Hindi to umako at kanita ang kapag dahil may mga unesin ko nito na iwan ko nito ang mga bali ito ang kapag iwan ko nito ang mga yung kapag nito sinito ang mga kong pero sinito sinito ang mga kapag na po ito sinito sinito ang puni pag sinito sinito ang puni kung sinito pati ka ama Father, take my hand. Mati tocani să ne facă o manita cu păriniții oare să camada să poani eu te bocați în cama cu nea e bine tu cine ta cu poi ada eu o te o te faci cine ta o cu cine ta Verso că cine ta mai cu cine cu coneta Vai que tu queres teu sinete Não Ei Você me dá uma toque Você me manda de tudo Daughter, I've called you many times. Many times you have heard me in the mystic, revelations deep within. The garden is already planted and the flowers are opening. Not to forsake me, but to know me better. Holy, 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 holy. Just giving yourself permission to wiggle your fingers and your toes a little bit. Inviting yourself to your body. Welcome home. Thank you for being here. Checking in. How's everybody feeling? Nice. Beautiful. There's definitely some movement here. So calling forward this opportunity to step into this place of realizing the movement of the holy people, in the presence of the holy people, giving that voice opportunity to rest into us here, to understand the magnification of our gifts, the magnification of the opportunity that's available to step into your gifts, to step into what it means to be a hallowed vessel, what it means to be open to being used. And this is a time, a great time for us to be in a place of being able to receive. Because once we're receiving, then what happens is it's like the water that flows into the cup. When the cup is filled with air, okay, the water displaces the air, right? Because the cup is always full. Well, you are that cup. You are that vessel. You're always full. Are you full of the corruption of this timeline? Or are you ready to be in the place where you're allowing for the flowing of the waters to cleanse that? And to allow yourself to rest into that moment of optimization. Because that's where you're being called to. You're being called to that place of optimizing and understanding that there is healing in you. There is power in you. That this mountain right here, this water right here, these springs right here are crying out, "Daughter, what is your name? Son, what is your name? Know me. Realize me. Be in relationship with me." As we step into that place of relational spirituality, we begin to identify with all of our relations. We begin to understand all of our relations. And as we understand all of our relations, the infinite power that rests in your ability as an earthling is magnified to the potential of infinite possibility. Your greatest understanding is limited to where you're going. Where you're going is better than where you're at. Because the path has already been laid down before you. The drum has been sung. The play has been played. The dance has been danced. The path has already been walked. You are the living inherent. You are the inheritance of the prophecies that have been laid down before you. For this very time. Not another time. Not if the 10th monkey wakes up, huh? Not if just one more person believes. No! Now! Now is the time. Now is the time to claim that inheritance, relative. And I want you to know that the place of insecurity is a beautiful place to be in. Because I'm going to share something with you. The ego tells you that you are this and you are that. But the humility of insecurity gives you an opportunity to rely on the presence of the holy ones. Huh? I remember being at Hilltop, looking at them, taking my drums down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon. I had been hired to go and play drums with the Havasupai, the most remote Native American tribe in the continental United States. Here I am, a person that didn't grow up with any tradition. I grew up with the drum circle. With people playing drums and, coming from all over the world. Not just a specific tradition. And I'm thinking to myself, as I'm watching them bring my drums down into the bottom of the Grand Canyon, who am I to bring the drum to these people? They have a lineage that's older than time itself. Who am I, the son of 2 drug addicts, to bring the drum to them? Who am I, the person who watched his mom overdose on cocaine, watched his father die of cirrhosis of the liver, watched his father say to him as a little boy, "You know what, here's a clean heroin connection, son. That was my dad's best thinking." Who am I to bring the medicine of the drum to this nation of people? And all of that insecurity bubbled up inside of me. And the only thing I had was my vulnerability and my intimacy. The only wisdom I had was my life wisdom. You have that inheritance in you.
And where the holy people want to take you is far more than you could ever imagine. The path is laid down before you. When I sat there and I listened to Tiny Hana sing a song, Tiny Hana, an elder of the Havasupai Nation, he went like this. He went, "Whoa," he said. He said that song was 10,000 years old. That song was older than the Bible. He said that came from a time when we were the cavemen and we didn't wear clothes. He said, and then we put on the buckskins for the explorers. He said, and now look at us, dressed like Europeans. That's what he said. Wow. When I sat and witnessed him play the drum like that, when I was in the presence of a holy man like that, all I could have was humility. All I could have was my understanding of willingness, huh? Holy Spirit, I'm willing. Holy people, elements, use me, huh? I'm willing, take me. Take this broken vessel and make something beautiful from it, huh? And guess what? They invited me back 2 more times, huh? I might have got lucky 1 time, right? I might have been able to hustle my way down there.